Hey, the Muffin Show here. I'm trying out using a softer voice. This game that I'm bringing you is from the Unicorn pack that's released recently. This pack doesn't have a lot of good scaling options, but the few scaling options that are in it can be quite strong. And this video is focusing on one of those options, the Behemoth. The Behemoth is kind of just like an old school bison, without the level 3 requirement where it just scales 2-2 in stats every turn. And its gimmick, if you want to call it that, is that it can have up to 100 in stats. Now, that hasn't really come into play very much in the games that I've played so far, but I could definitely see that coming into play in versus 2-player or 8-player, since those games could go a little bit longer. Here, I've gone for the Cracked Egg start. I think Cracked Egg is very good in the Unicorn pack, in part because it is one of the pets that you can have multiples of without being hard punished by the Axe Handle Hound. I think that's its name. I just sold it there. I got a double level up on turn 3, which is kind of the old school how you want to play, and I got both Ouroboros, which is a weird pet. It's a pet that at the time I wanted to try out, but I didn't think it would be that good. Looking back at this replay, I'm thinking it might actually be pretty good. It can do a lot. I think it would particularly be strong. Most of the pets in the Unicorn pack, early pets, don't have that much attack, but if you were to grab some pets from other packs in the custom where they could make better use of the health, the temporary health that they get off of the rolls, I think Ouroboros could be very strong in custom. The Minotaur that our opponent is running, Minotaur is an interesting pet. I feel like in most purposes, it's just a better kangaroo. It's interesting that scaling is based on level of the pet in front of it, not just on its own level. Here I grab the Mana Hound. The Mana Hound is just one of the best enablers of mana synergy builds. I do grab the Minotaur here. Any sort of scaling gain extra attack is going to be really helpful in this upcoming battle. And there, our opponent got really unlucky. Their hound hit our only pet where it doesn't matter. And that, we got lucky there, but that also does show how the Cracked Egg is sort of a way to negate how devastating the hound can be. In hindsight, it probably would have been okay to keep the Ouroboros and run that a little bit longer, considering just how much temporary stats and how hard it can carry. It got us through a lot of those early turns without losing any hearts, which is really helpful. But I hadn't tried the Wyvern at all, and so when given the option to play 2 of them, I wanted to see how crazy all those extra options on level up could be. Mana Hound and Chimera is just a match made in heaven. Or hell, depending on how you feel about the Chimera. I would hate the Chimera if it wasn't for the fact that if it becomes too prevalent in the meta, then I'm just going to start running a lot of the... Oh, I'm blanking on the name. It's the little things in the pots from Harry Potter. Mandrake? Yeah, Mandrake. Because once you get a Mandrake to level 2, it just ruins every Chimera build out there. The Cyclops is a pet it's felt very, very good. I don't know if I would say it's overpowered. It's like, it probably is a little too good. It's like a tier 4 alpaca, but it's a little harder to get the free experience trigger. But then you also get the mana, which makes leveling up during battle builds quite strong. It's always a little annoying later in the game when you go up against someone with like a level 3 team spirit and a bunch of Cyclopses, and then some pets that level up, and then next thing you know, everything on their team is getting like 20-40 in stats. So here I have the nine-tailed fox. I don't remember what its actual name is, but I didn't realize at the time I was playing this game that can trigger multiple times. And so potentially, by putting other pets in that have ways to gain mana, you can get that trigger to give bonus mana multiple times. Here I did grab the Behemoth off of those options. And then we'll see what we have. It passed by too quickly for me to see what my options were on that level up on the Mana Hound. Unfortunately, our opponent with a massive Minotaur and just a ton of stats overall, we didn't quite have enough to get there. And I did see a Behemoth off that level up, and another Behemoth off of the level up on the Behemoth. So here it's time to just get some mana, some extra damage from the level 3 Mana Hound, and then just try and scale some stats and see if that's enough to just carry us through the rest of the game. Our opponent's level 2 Chimera would be scary if it wasn't for the fact that they had very little mana generation, so we're able to steamroll it pretty easily. Here I'm trying to level up and use the Sandworm. I'm guessing that's probably a reference to Dune. Speaking of Dune, I am looking forward to the Dune Part 2 coming out soon. I was a big fan of the Part 1. It's a little slow, but just the visuals, and it's just a really cool movie. We are running into a bit of trouble here, where we're starting to go up against stronger teams with stronger synergies, and we don't have that much scaling. The Sandworm at this time is still just a level 1, and all those rolls really aren't you know, gain us too many stats. It is nice having the level 3 Wyvern. It's making it very easy to get more Behemoths to just go for a bunch of big boys. Another game that we were just a little too far behind on the stats. This is where it's starting to feel a little bit stressful. It has been an interesting game with... I want to explore more the Ouroboros and seeing how that can transition into later builds. Hopefully get to the mid to late game with a lot of hearts so I can try. I've been losing a lot of games trying to make the Jersey Devil work. It's a pet that I think will be quite strong in customs with like alpaca and things like the chinchilla being able to sell for 2 level 3s. But in this pack with just these pets available, it's a struggle. Opponent rocking a level 3 vampire bat, but like that last fight, but not any crazy elements to really make it pop off. We do have a lot of stats though, so that's a great help for going against. Vampire Bat is one of those pets that I'm pretty sure is going to be nerfed from 3 damage at level 1 to 2, and then multiples of 2 as it levels up, because with elements like in particular the red dragon's crisp and the visitor, the xenomorph, it can really pop off in a crazy way. Well, here we did manage to get those last couple wins just with some basic, just a couple of big boys. It turns out, even with all these crazy stats and synergies, sometimes just a sizable chunk of stats can get her done. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.